Shalom, Laha Alahayim, peace to the gods, Nawathan, Kal, Halalium La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Giving all praises to Yahweh, in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the head elders of all the camps of Great Millstone GMS will do well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad, the house of David, starting with the 144,000, 12,000 men, prophets of each tribe of Israel, Yashar Allah, as well as the remaining innumerable multitude scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and the 1/3 here in Babylon the Great of men, women, and children, that is rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of their ability, of whatever office that they may acquire. This is your brother Tazapanya, Banyamyan, Adawan Ratazah, Yahweh Ratazah, Abba Ratazah, Lord willing. This spiritual commentary is edifying unto the elect, straight to the point, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. So this is John Williams again, all right? And I checked the sources, and it's official, man. The federal, I forgot what deposit, insurance, something. But the FDIC, the alphabet department that is supposed to be that has insurance on all deposits into the banks in America for up to $250,000, they just issued a dire warning to America, and I peeped it. All right, because they just came out with their quarterly report. Now it says 63 U.S. banks to collapse with 517 billion in losses. All right, and 63 backwards is 36. You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. But the point is, it just came out. All right, and shit is about to hit the fan. Big bank is about to take little bank. All right, meaning the international banking families, all right, the small hats, specifically of the now famous, revealed, wicked family of the Red Shields, all right, and they're of the tribe of Amalek, the chief tribe of the nation of Edom, okay, the JOOs, okay, they are going to have more control and more power, because who is going to have to buy up all these small banks, the bigger ones? Okay, your JP Morgan, Chase, your Wells Fargo, Bank of America, so on and so forth. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get some scriptures, close it on out.
FDIC has just issued a warning to America that 63 banks are about to fail, and they have about $517 billion worth of losses. This is 4 times greater than the entire sum of the FDIC. Last year, the FDIC had a video they said was leaked. In this video, they said the inevitable will be bank bail-ins.
See, so they said the video was leaked. And remember these devils, man. Is revelation of method. Oh, the video was leaked. They the ones that leaked it so that you can't get mad, even though they already have. Matter of fact, let's go get that. The unrighteous decree that has already been prescribed. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 10. And we're going to start at verse 1. And I'm going to highlight this real quick. All right, in my new sword. Okay. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 10. It's got a lot of ink in it. Sheesh. All right. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1, it says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees." So they make laws, they make commandments that is unrighteous. Okay? Which would be the bail-ins, because they already have the laws that say they can bail in. What is a bail-in? Is when a bank goes down and you have your money in it, which is not your money when you give them guardianship over your so-called money. It's now their money. And they have an IOU to you, but they don't have to give it back to you because really you're giving them ownership and authority over your money by having the banks regulated. Hence why they can, according to their mind, do fractional reserve banking, which is they only have 10% amount of what your bank account says that you have. Because if everybody went to the banks to do a bank run to get their money out, they won't give you your money because they don't got it, because they over there gambling in the stock market and whatever else agenda of investments that they have with your money, but it's not your money to begin with, you see. So it goes on to say again in Isaiah 10 and 1, woe unto them that decree and righteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. See, to pre is before, to scribe is the right. So they already wrote it before they even make the law. Okay, it says to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. You see, so that's what it's all about. They're going to rob you. You done worked all this hard time when they already taxing 40% out your check. And when you're supposed to get paid at the end of the day, you getting paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly on salary, okay? But all that time while they're waiting to pay you, while you slaving away and bills is accruing, they're using that money. So the corporations you work for is doing the same thing the banks is doing, investing the money, and then when they get an ROI, a return on investment, then they want to pay you when they have that money. See, and this is why some smaller businesses, all right, be like, oh, we ain't got your money right now. We're waiting on our contracts and all the checks to clear, then we can pay. And that's why layoffs happen, because it doesn't come in time, because they can't pay everybody on payroll. All right, but it shows you the wickedness. The scriptures say, when the wicked rule, the people mourn. See, so the people mourning because of how they ruling, specifically with this financial sector. All right, but when the righteous rule, the people rejoice, because they're going to rejoice when the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans that have stood for the name of Yahweh Shai so stiffly is going to rule in the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, which by default would be the kingdom of Israel.
Understand they can be bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institution. But they're going to be. I almost think you scare the public if you put this out. Like, why are they telling me this? Should I be concerned about my bank?
This wasn't a hypothetical, maybe this will happen. This is, the American people better get ready because this is going to happen. Well, what is a bail-in? A bail-in, essentially, is that banks are in such a bind, such a hard spot. They have no other alternative but to bail themselves out of that position with your money, with your deposits. And the more that you look into exactly what's unfolding right now, the more you'll see the next 6 months are going to change America.
Yo, we be telling niggas and these niggas, yo, these waggy tacky Christians, oh yeah, well, Jesus could come back in 100 years. You don't know. We just gotta believe on him and declare him our Lord and say, y'all niggas don't have the testimony of Yahweh Shai because you don't have the spirit of prophecy, man. We're measuring the time thou diligently in itself. You see what I'm saying? This thing is about to pop, all right? This thing is about to pop. Let me go to James real quick, chapter 5. All right, this is the book of James. Where is it at? Book of James, chapter 5. Salakia. John, Jude, Revelation. Where's James at? Salakia. Here we go. James 5 and verse 1. It says, Go to now, ye rich men, which would be your Amalekites, your Edomites. Okay, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Yeah, they're going to go into slavery. All right, your riches are corrupted. Right, they're corrupted because you have went against us. Since you wanted to claim that you keep the Torah, you Amalekites, you other Edomites, you want to claim that you keep the Holy Bible, but yet you do usury to an exorbitant rate, man. You violate. You want to say, "Oh, we're brothers and neighbors," but according to the scriptures, you're not supposed to give usury upon your own people, or the other people, but yet they're the same ones, the other Edomites of the Judeo-Christendom, that would say, "Oh, it's spiritual Israel. Israelites is gone, so we're all brothers if we all believe in Jesus Christ." Well, if that's the case, you shouldn't be violating. You see the wickedness in their doctrine. Verse 3: Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as if it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. And that's what this bailing is going to do. They're going to heap the treasure because the last days of the Federal Reserve note is here. And when the shit crash, they're going to take your money. They're going to bail themselves in. All right. Verse 4: Behold, the hire of your laborers, all of us in the slave class, specifically you Jake out there, because we're the tail and the rest of the nations is the head, according to the curses, Deuteronomy 28. All right. It says what? Which have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. This whole shit is by fraud. The whole central banking system that has been run by the Amalekites is by fraud. Crieth, it says, and the cries of them which have reaped and entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. So because of the elect of Israel, the ones that's really doing the work, right? And our prayers is literally piercing the ears of the Heavenly Father through his son Yahweh Shai, all right, through the Holy Spirit. All right. Simple as that. Let's go.
Forever. In this video, I'm going to break it down. They're walking us into the storm. There's no doubt that this happens. Please hit the like button, hit the like button. People share the content, educate more people about what's really going on in this country. And if you like to fix your credit, to position yourself, what I believe is going to be a massive credit crunch and a lot of people in financial distress, a lot of opportunities inside of the entire economy. If you're thinking about investing, we'd love to help you at my company, greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to greatcreditfast.com. Click the link in the description just below the video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Take a look at this. So 1.2 million views in this single post. Unrealized losses, unavailable for sale, and held to maturity securities soared by 39 billion to 517 billion in the first quarter. This is FDIC reported 63.
So in about 3-4 months, all right, those securities, whether it be treasury bonds or whatever, because you hold on to it until it matures, because you're supposed to get a return on investment of the interest rate. All right. But because of the interest rate, they keep making it go higher. That means that when they bought it, they're not going to get the same amount of money that they was expecting. So basically it's a loss. And them losses that they can't even account for on record went from 39 billion to 517 billion in about 3 to 4 months, a quarter. All right.
Banks on the brink of insolvent collapse. Then another post. Same content, 587,000 views.
You see that? See what I'm saying? See right there? Look at the graph.
This story is blowing up. Everybody is talking about this scenario. But what they're not talking about is how this is scheduled to happen. Because you think about this. They told these banks, lend money to the American people. We need to stimulate the economy. Issue 3% mortgage rates. Lend on commercial real estate, on REITs, on office buildings, on these way overvalued valuations. And then what they did is they then increased interest rates from 3% or 2.5% to 7.5%.
Just like I said, right? So you bought it at 5% interest rate. Now it's at 7% interest rate, and you're supposed to be holding it for 5, 10, 30 years.
Eroding the value of these assets that they lent on.
So that's why in James 5 it says that your gold and silver is cankered. All right, the rust of it shall. You see what I'm saying? It's corrupted. It's not. Look, he said erode. What does rust do? Let me read that again. You see, you can't make this shit up. It's the spirit. This is James 5:3. It says, your gold and silver is cankered. And the rust, what the rust is erosion of a metal. Of them shall be a witness against you. So the fact that we're seeing that all of these values is being decreased, it's literally James 5:3 playing out, man.
To where now
and the Bible ain't official tissue.
Banks owe so much money on these properties that they're underwater in a really, really, really big way. And so last year, when you had Silicon Valley Bank fail, when you had First Republic fail, PacWest getting acquired by Bank of California, Credit Suisse, you had all these disasters unfolding. They said, you know what, we need to come out with a bank term funding program.
So the Trump shit, the Joe Biden shit, he just made a executive order to close the borders. Like he flipped his whole thing because he's trying to seem like he's doing something for vote. It's all a distraction. All right? Because before this election, Lord willing, of course, I'll speak as a man, it seems like all hell and shit is about to hit the fan. Hell is about to break loose, financially speaking, man. You see what I'm saying? Do you understand the way that this devil works? He's doing sleight of hand. Has you looking over here, but behind closed doors, this is what really happening. And ask your fellow co-worker or any of these niggas, these Christian or whoever it may be, Muslim, I don't care who it is. If they not in this truth, they not watching it. They not really seeing what's going on out here and how is it going to affect, all right, salvation. All right, getting beamed up out of here, all right, by the chariots of Israel, all right, and before that happens with the nuclear missiles in World War III, what's going to happen? The only people that's been pushing this from the apostles of Great Millstone on down, the MOTB, which is the RFID CHIP, okay, this is going to be the solution for all of this chaos that's coming with this financial whirlwind that's hitting Babylon the Great.
Exactly what they did in 2008. We issued help to all these banks. And these banks, they took these loans. 1,804 banks took a loan. $165 billion worth of these loans. But the thing is, these loans aren't a 30-year fixed rate loan. No. It's like a bridge loan that you would get on a construction project or a hard money loan. You have 12 months to pay it back. Well, on March 10th of 2025, every single bank has to pay back this money. That's if they took it the day that this expired, which expired March 11th of this year. Now, many of these banks, every single week, are going to have more and more and more of these banks that are going to make, they're going to have to make their payments. And if not, they're going to go out of business. Now, one of the largest real estate investors in America, Barry Starlett, the CEO of Starwood Capital, he says that he believes we're going to have a bank failure every week. And he's saying it's going to be due to real estate loans. In large part, sure. But I think it's going to be due to a variety of changes that are unfolding inside of the U.S. economy. They're getting hit in real estate. Consumer deposits are getting pulled out. People can't afford to live. They're not saving as much. People are defaulting on credit cards. They're defaulting on auto loans. It's just a difficult day to be a bank. And when you have all of these other banks, Chase Bank and a lot of these other large institutions gearing up to really supersize this entire market, you're going to see that we're going to see many banks go on out of business, and we're going to see large banks really start to dominate. Because did you know that JP Morgan Chase and these other large institutions, they legally can acquire banks out of distress. They can't do clean sales, buyer to seller, seller to buyer in a normal, healthy economy. But if it's a situation where consumers could be impacted, they legally and lawfully can go ahead and acquire these banks because they're not allowed to acquire more than 10% market share. And now, with all this distress coming, they legally will be allowed to. And so it's pretty crazy what's unfolding, all as the Fed just came out saying no rate cuts in 2024. So you think about this. They're not going to cut interest rates. They're going to put more weight and more pressure on consumers, on banks, on real estate loans. And you have about $2.8 trillion worth of commercial real estate loans due from now until 2027. See, it's just an absolute disaster type of situation they're walking us into. They said they're not going to cut rates because of inflation. Well, look, do you think inflation is at 3% or 4%? Many people would argue it's much, much, much higher than that. Increasing interest rates or decreasing interest rates, it's not going to do that much to combat inflation. What it would do, decreasing interest rates, is probably help a lot of these banks that are really, really, really struggling. But they're not going to do it. Instead, they're going to walk us into the great consolidation. That's what the U.S. economy is going into right now. That's what's happening right now in the middle class. The middle class is getting consolidated to where there's now essentially two classes of people. It's the have-nots down here and then the have-yachts up here. This is what's unfolding. And the same thing is going to be unfolding throughout banking. And look at this. Despite the claimed resilience in the banking sector by the U.S. Federal Reserve and the Biden administration, the specter of significant financial strain looms. Unrealized losses in securities swelled by $39 billion the previous quarter, driven predominantly by depreciations in residential mortgages for mortgage-backed securities due to rising mortgage rates. The latest FDIC report highlighted that this marks the 9th consecutive quarter of substantial unrealized losses, a troubling trend that will begin with the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes in early 2022. Simultaneously, the number of banks now on the FDIC problem list went from 52 to 63 in just one quarter. These banks, identified with the CAMEL's composite rating of 4 or 5, indicate a heightened level of financial, operational, and managerial weakness. The total assets of these at-risk banks have surged by 15.8 billion, signaling potential vulnerabilities in the broader banking ecosystem. The widespread belief is that the banking crisis that began in 2023 is ongoing. Following the dramatic failures of these 3 large financial institutions in American history, Philadelphia Republic Bank also collapsed just a couple months ago. Additionally, a recent study by the Claros Group, published in May 2024, suggests that hundreds of U.S. banks are at risk of failure. Now, I would say that is conservative. If you have 1,804 banks that took out loans, and they essentially how these loans worked is, let's say they lent money on a real estate deal. This real estate deal at that time was $100 million, and they would lend $70 million on this deal, meaning the investor would put $30 million down. Then interest rates went from 2.5%, 3% to 7.5%. Now the $100 million deal might be worth 60 or 50 or $40 million. And now that bank is on the hook. They're underwater $30 million.
So look, see, and this is why I put 63 lenders, and then in quotations banks, all right, have 517 billion in unrealized, unrecognized losses. That's what the FDIC said, right? Because of this precept right here. This is Proverbs chapter 22:7. It says, the rich ruleth over the poor. So notice how he said there's 2 classes, the have-nots and the have-yachts. So the ones that got yachts at Saint-Tropez, right? They the ones that ruleth over the have-nots, because you ain't having shit. You ain't got shit. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean, right? It says, and the borrower is servant to the lender. And what are banks? They lend you money through what? Credit. But notice they get lends from the higher central banks. You see that? So if they are in trouble, who you think they're going to pass on that trouble to? Their slaves, which would be the borrowers at the bottom, because the banks borrow from the central banks and you borrow from the regional banks. You see the hierarchy of this thing? And then who runs the central banks? The international banking families. Job 9:24. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. If not, where and who is he? And we know who he is. It's Esau, Edom, the man of sin, the son of perdition. Your so-called Caucasian race, so-called white people. Specifically at the top, your elite, your left-handed Luciferians, your so-called light bearers, all right? Your Amalekites, your small hatters, your 48ers, all right?
But with this bank term funding program, they said, hey, look, we'll come out, we'll give you the entire loan amount, the entire 70 million. Forget about the 20 or 30 or 40 billion or 20, 30, 40 million dollars unrealized losses on this single loan. We'll deal with it later. But now these deals are eroding in value even further. So they're going to have to come out of pocket, and they're even in a worse position than they were when they initially took out this loan. I mean, look at some of these deals. It's crazy. Just in Starwood, this is the same exact company. This is the CEO. Just in Starwood.
So look, for the GMSDC brothers, you see what I'm saying? That I can't wait. It just said Starwood acquires Washington D.C. building from Brookfield in a foreclosure auction. The winning bid was just 30% of the debt owed. The building, 1200 K Street Northwest, traded hands for $44 million. The outstanding debt was $142 million. You see that?
Acquires Washington D.C. building from Brookfield in a foreclosure auction. The winning bid was just 30% of the debt owed. The building, 1200 K Street Northwest, traded hands for $44 million. Outstanding debt was $142 million. They lost $98 million on that deal, coupled with bank losses and the investor. And that's not including any capital improvements, any CapEx, anything that went into that deal. So you start to look at this situation. It is crazy. It is really, really shocking how fast this entire situation is ramping up. We have $128 billion worth of capital in the FDIC, and then they're sitting on 17 trillion in consumer deposits. It's 0.007%. 0.007% of all deposits. So the FDIC is not going to be this saving grace.
So they can't give you back no money because they only have 0.007%, all right, of insurance of all of the deposits that are in the banks. So when this shit go down, everybody gonna feel it. This ain't no maybe here. No, that is less than 1%. So everybody's money's gonna be disappear on some what's that old magician nigga? Whatever. You feel me? I'll try to make it, you gotta have fun with this thing, but it ain't gonna be fun when everybody's money is missing, man.
They're gonna save probably the top 1%, the top 0.001%. I don't think they're gonna save Sally the hairdresser, Mike the plumber. I think we're gonna see some pretty crazy situations unfold. And what I think is gonna likely happen is we're gonna start to see these banks trying to offload a lot of these assets, commercial real estate, multifamily, residential loans. We're going to see everything in distress that is in distress get rolled up and sold. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think we're walking into this disaster that the Fed, they're telling us that we're walking into? They're saying that they are not going to cut interest rates. They are not going to cut these rates. I believe, without doubt, that consumers are in worse positions today than they've ever been in throughout our lifetimes. I mean, it's worse than any other time. 2007, you could buy a home in America for under $250,000. That was the national average. Now it's $450,000, $430,000. Used cars essentially, you could buy a used car in 2007 before the Great Financial Crisis for under $8,000. It was $7,900 for the national average for a used car. Now it's a multiple of that. Look at utility bills, rent, food, yet wages have remained the same. Consumers are in a worse position now than ever, and banks are way worse today than they were back in 2008. What do you think about this situation? Do you think we're going to see bank bail-ins? Do you think we're going to see a financial crisis in this country? I hope it doesn't happen. I love America. I would never want to see something like this happen. But the facts are saying that we're walking into a massive stage 5 storm. Let's have a conversation about this below. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you out, Mike.
This is why Ezra, right? Izara, and then Lashwan Hakodah, she said, woe is me, who shall deliver me in those days, man? This shit is about to hit the fan, bro. Lord willing, it comes sooner rather than later, because we all have that spirit of wanting to get out of here, all right? Yahweh Shah's coming back in this generation. We believe in high faith, man. Hey, so Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, I was edifying to the elect, call on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, the MOTB is the RFID chip. All right, and that's coming. So when this shit go down, they're gonna have a solution. And Jake out here going to be praying unto their God, Esau, Edom, for them to save them from the problem that they put themselves in. Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. All right, on to the next one.